funny. Look at that. We have Anthony fight. Wait a minute.
Anthony!
Hey, everybody. How you doing? It's me. It's Anthony.
Anthony.
Dun, 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 dun.
Anthony, you're looking a little one-dimensional. What's happening here?
What's going on?
You're looking a little flat, Anthony.
Watch, I'm going to do a trick. I'm going to go inside Lorenzo.
Wow.
Boom!
Look at that.
This is an amazing magic trick.
It-
How
it-
did
it
this
really-
happen?
Well, I would go over it, but that's what they teach in plumbing school, so you have to go to that school to figure it out.
To figure
Yes,
that out.
yes, you got to go to the school to figure it out.
Well, here we are, our second week in a row, and Stacy and I, we're going through withdrawal right now. We are severely missing our best friend and a co-host that no one can replace. So Nobody. Last week we had two people trying to replace him, and this week everybody was too scared to step into the shoes. Nobody wanted to be a guest host this week. Nobody. They said Anthony is too powerful. He's all knowing. He's Oz.
Way too much.
That's it. So Lorenzo
Yes.
was the only person who came to bat, stepped up, and said, "Here I am."
Yes, it was because I'm Italian and I have so many relatives named Anthony, Tony, so it's, same thing.
Lorenzo, we may have maybe 3 new viewers since you were last with us. Listen, who are you, Lorenzo, and why are you here?
I am here because I found each one of you on Google and I harassed you, came to your house, and I said, if I'm not part of the Rocky Files, then we're gonna have to go toe to toe.
Yikes!
Right. So he was.
Yes,
scary.
it's true. It's true. Really, this is a wig, and I take it off. My head is tattooed.
Nice.
Yes, it really is.
Sons of Anarchy. Nice.
Yeah, it's really crazy. So I'm here. I can't replace Anthony, but I hope that I can bring those Anthony viewers some joy, some Christmas joy, because who doesn't love Christmas?
As Anthony would say, 100%.
100%.
See, it's because he's inside of me. He's inside of me.
He is. That does sound creepy, but yes, he is.
Yes, that's right. And make sure to tune into my Elvis podcast where you're going to see a next great guest.
Anthony, we miss you.
Yes. How are you both feeling today?
Stacy, why don't you lead off? How you doing?
I'm cold and I'm in New Hampshire and I'm not happy about it and I want to move south. So I'm good, but I'm cold and I'm impatient about the move. That's how I am. Moving on. How are you, Michael?
Well, I'm doing well. I had a Rocky tour this morning with a lovely man, a guy from Texas, Houston, Texas. His name was Cody. Loved the tour. It was great. He showed up wearing one of the Sly Stallone shop fedoras, so it was great. And
wow, impressive.
Oh yeah, like yourself, Lorenzo. He was very proud of his logo wear from the Sly Stallone shop. So we had a great tour. I had a nice, easy drive home. Got home and I listened to actually quite an amazing interview with Howard Stern and Ben Affleck. Now, I've always been a Ben Affleck fan. I actually liked his turn as Batman. I thought he was great. I don't have a negative thing to say about Ben Affleck.
I met Ben Affleck.
Did you really? What was that like?
First of all, a big guy.
I know.
Like
6'5"
you don't think, but he's not a small guy. I went to this at the Screen Actors Guild. They hold these conversations and a celebrity will come. So I had just shot my first short film and I wanted to meet him and I wanted to give him my short and say, can you look at it? Tell me what you think and offer advice. So he spoke really funny. He's one of those typical Italian relatives that talks with his hands. And so he was really funny, super nice. Now, after, you're not supposed to ask for autographs or give them anything. Now, Ben was a complete sweetheart.
Yeah.
Like you like him and then you meet him and now you want to be best friends with him.
Right.
So everyone's asking autographs. And there's this one lady there that all my actor friends and I would call the Red Devil because she wears always red and she has this cane. So he starts signing autographs for people and she's screaming, no, stop. And then he's taking pictures, no picture. So he turns around and says, I said it was okay. Well, I said it wasn't.
Oh, Jesus.
So you could tell he was about to destroy her, but
go Batman on her.
Yeah. He's like, well, he said, forget about it. So I give them my short and I said, take a look at it. He's like, absolutely. Congratulations. Keep going.
Nice.
Yeah. So he was very nice.
So the interview was great. Stern is probably the premier interviewer on the planet. Nobody, and it's not a salacious thing. It's a heartfelt thing. It really is.
Yeah.
If you've never listened to Howard Stern, go on YouTube, listen to any one of his thousands of interviews that are on there.
Yeah.
He really is brilliant. You may not like him or like some of the things he did in the past, but I promise you, his interviews, nothing like you're expecting.
Yeah, they're unbelievable.
Yeah.
Lorenzo, you have some unusual Rocky finds. What do you
Can't
got?
wait.
Well, being that it's Christmas time, everyone needs a little Rocky in your life, right? But who wants, you could get these comfortable shirts, comfortable jackets, but let's say you're in your garden. You're looking at your plants and you're like, you know what? I want to bring this garden inside. Who wants a boring little planter when you could have a Rocky planter? That's right. Your plants will feel the energy of Rocky. And we're talking Rocky Balboa, where he's like this.
Wow.
So I was like, I could just see the plant going, go Rocky, go Rocky.
Does that really exist? Does a Rocky planter exist?
It was green and it had this on it. Maybe they put a sticker. I don't know, but it was the label, because I was searching for unusual Rocky stuff, and this came up.
Oh.
So Lorenzo,
let me ask you a detailed question.
All right.
Have you been smoking any of the green plants in the garden?
Michael, we said after this, before we started, you're not supposed to say anything. Come on, man.
That's another podcast.
Okay. Listen, we'll share later, okay?
All right, that's fine.
Yes.
What else?
But it doesn't stop there.
No?
No.
What's
next? Let's say you're in your house.
Okay.
And you're looking at your walls and you're like, man, I want to put Rocky there. No. That's too easy. How about a chicken dressed as Rocky with his arms up?
Oh,
wouldn't that be great?
I love it.
At Thanksgiving.
Right?
Thanksgiving
I
chicken.
love it.
Yes. But this next one, I have to say, I know I would buy this one. A Rocky shower curtain. But you look at it and you have to step back because it has a giant picture of Buckus and it has Rocky Balboa, and then it has the steps and it has like a brief thing of this, and it's like, whoa.
It's like a gorilla threw together a Rocky shower curtain.
You're looking at it like, no, I don't like. Wait a second. If I take a shower, I bet my showers will be better with Rocky shower curtain.
Exactly right.
I saw a Rocky 3 one. I saw a Rocky 3 and my husband was walking by the screen. He just went, no. I'm like,
no,
honey.
Is it this right here? Is that what they do on the shower curtain?
It was the Rocky 3. It was this.
The poster.
Yeah.
The poster.
And
they're pretty awesome. So those were the unusual finds. I really want to try the planter and see if my plants will grow better with the Rocky planter.
So you got to get us some. You don't have any pictures, do you?
I don't. I could get it in my cell phone. I might still have the window up.
Stacy, how are you with putting pictures in? We know that's Anthony's
I'll find
job.
a way. I will cut them in. Yeah.
All right.
So send them to
me,
Lorenzo.
You know
I'll
what?
cut them in.
Wait. I know who can make this happen. Wait. Watch this.
Put it up. Show who can make it happen. Who can?
I can make this happen.
Anthony,
the Candyman.
It's gonna happen now.
Anthony,
Michael.
Anyone can.
I have a question for Michael.
Hello.
You have a Rocky shower curtain, don't you?
No, I don't.
No.
Now, here's the problem.
A Rocky planter?
No. For decades. Nope, don't have a planter either.
Was this your website I found, Michael?
No.
Was this your secret website I found?
Now listen to this. I told Sue that I wanted a Rocky shower curtain for Christmas. So she went, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find one anywhere. And for some stupid reason, I never thought of Amazon. So she found like 37 Rocky related. If they weren't direct Rocky, then it was like the art museum looking at the steps and then looking out. So I thought, how awesome would that be? You know, when you're sitting on the crapper and you're looking at the art museum steps, you're looking at climbing them. That's a great way to start going to the bathroom. Or if you're looking around and you scream victory, that's a great way to finish your job in the bathroom. Either way, you can't lose. So I'm hoping Santa has brought something like that.
I could just see the commercial of that. Are you constipated? Do you just sit on the crapper? Would you like it to shoot out with
cue the Rocky music?
Shoot out like a champion?
Shoot like a champion.
Oh my God.
Start upper boxing on the toilet. It's incredible.
I have a question for you two.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you hear all this Rocky trivia, and I like to know more about it. So I'm sure you both heard time and time again, Mr. Stallone say how much the famous producers mortgaged their house.
Correct.
Right. But I wanted to know, I was so confused coming here because I was like, but the studio gave a budget. So I found that the budget was $1 million and they went over $100,000.
Supposedly.
And then the two producers had to mortgage their house to come up with that extra $100,000, all for this unknown guy. And then, of course, it was successful and even beat out Taxi Driver at the Oscars.
All the President's Men Network.
Yeah.
It did not beat out like Porky's 2. Okay. All right.
My wife worked with with one of the guys from Porky's 1.
No, come on.
For a brief time. The one who was trying to have sex all the time? Yeah, she worked with him for a while, yeah.
No. Oh my God.
I swear to God.
Doing what?
She worked at this company called Factor Direct, I believe it was, and doing phone sales. Yeah. And he was one of the managers there, and it got brought up once, and she's like, oh my God. Yeah, because it's one of those movies.
Right.
So not to stop you, I'm sorry. The voice in my head, he's broke.
That's not a problem. We like that voice. We like that voice right up until we're ready to go for the interview because we need to just vamp a little bit more. I just got a little text message from our intrepid big guest that we got here. So
he's here.
Keep going. Oh, he's here?
He's here. I can see him.
All right. Listen.
All right.
We're not going to waste any more time. Everybody watching, we have a bona fide award-winning director. Now, this guy has directed, I might be a little prejudiced in saying this, but maybe the greatest documentary of all time. The greatest documentary of all time. And that would be The Pretender. Right here is where we're going to cue the Pretender poster. My father's probably going to shoot me. I should have the camera turned around to my Pretender wall, but I don't. So, Stacy, would you bring in our very good friend and great director, Mr. Jim Toscano, all the way from Michigan?
Here he comes. Woo! There he is.
Jim!
This is a crowd.
How we doing, Jim?
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
Awesome.
Jim, we are so excited to have you here. You look so good. I'm telling you, you must have lost 20 pounds. You look amazing.
Thanks, Mike.
You look very relaxed. You got the brick background. You're in a chair. You look like very relaxed and happy there.
I'm feeling happy.
He's in Lorenzo. This is the Starbucks he took me to when we were in Detroit going for the premiere. He's in the back of a Detroit Starbucks.
It does look like a Starbucks, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's next year you're gonna see Matthew Perry and like Jennifer Aniston come out in the back.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're close friends because I grew up in Chicago.
Oh, you did? Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Did you come to Detroit at all?
I didn't. The only thing I knew about Michigan is they told me never go. Stay in Chicago.
Oh yeah, it's kind of changed now. It's not. It's a different story now. I almost so much so that you almost miss the old days. Like someone said, I kind of miss Gotham. When Detroit looked like Gotham City, but there's still some Gotham-y parts. But the downtown's super nice. Our studio's in like an old market, like an Italian fruit market.
How ironic, an Italian market. It's like written in the stars.
Yeah.
Jim seriously has one of the coolest locations for his studio. We were there a few years ago. I love it. Just like he said, it's this Italian market style thing. The streets, there's not a main drag right there. So the streets are a little they're just off the beaten path, but like it's still in the city. It's great. He's got this brick background. It's a pretty big place that's there, and you can see that Jim has the nicest forehead in show business. He really does. He's leaning into the camera.
Mikey, we're getting serious today.
Yeah, Mike was pouring his heart out, and then he got a forehead.
No, Jim, he put his forehead right into the camera.
I can tell he's gonna get aggressive today. I'm ready.
Wait a sec. I know what's wrong, Jim. You're just upset because of this. Here you go. Now we're better.
Anthony
Jim,
is now here.
Nice to meet you.
100%, Jim. 100%. All right, so Jim, you are a documentary filmmaker, and why don't you tell everybody what you've been up to lately? What's been on the docket for you?
Well, we're in Detroit. Our studio's in Detroit. We make commercials, documentaries here in town, and all kinds of projects, some short films and things like that. So we've been super busy working on videos for the automakers in Detroit. So that's kind of like our bread and butter here. And the last year has been super busy. So we've been trying to take advantage of that and just do some fun projects with them. And then we have a couple documentary ideas that we're kind of picking away at, and starting to work on a couple new things too. So yeah, we try and the commercial stuff is great. And then we try and keep a good mix going with some work we do with public television, some documentaries, and they all kind of feed each other creatively. It's like you bring what you're doing in the documentary to the commercial side and vice versa. So
Jim, I'll tell you what, I don't think I could be more happy or more prouder for a guy I met many years ago on a freezing corner in Kensington, freezing our asses off, waiting for Sylvester to show up and talk to the crowd. And it was amazing because that's where I met Jim. It was in January or February of 2006. Jim, why were you in Philadelphia that week? What brought you there?
I was actually working for an advertising agency back then. So I was in town printing catalogs for cars, basically.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and, you have to go and go on and quality check them, basically.
Oh, okay.
The best part about that job was the travel. So when I was in Philly, actually the printing press broke that weekend. So I had nothing to do.
Right.
And so I was hanging out in Philly, and I knew that they were kind of filming. They might be filming one of the Rocky films. It was Rocky Balboa, I think. So I said, let me go downtown and see what's going on downtown. So that's where I saw Mike on a corner, kind of sounding like Rocky, kind of looking like Rocky. And everyone was kind of gravitating towards him. You could see the security guards like, what the hell is this guy doing? Go out there and start shooting the shit with them. And so I thought, well, I got all night. If anyone's going to know where Stallone is, it's probably this guy. So I hung out with Mike, and I always tell everyone, they're like, well, how'd you know you wanted to do a documentary about him? And the funny thing was, it's like, it was like a movie to me. Like, I'm in my hotel room all week, and every night on the news, they do this, Sylvester Stallone's back in town filming the latest installment, and no one's happier than local Mike Kunda, local Mike Kunda. Every night, this guy is,
this guy's on top
everywhere.
Of it.
Yeah.
When I first saw Jim, he was the scariest person in Kensington. And I'll tell you why. Kensington.
I still am.
He does look very frightening. I mean, I'm looking at him. I'm scared.
No, honestly, Jim, when you meet Jim, even Sue, my father looks at Jim as an adopted son. Seriously.
Yeah.
Jim is one of the kindest, sweetest people we've ever met. My family was very concerned about Jim's motives in exploiting me early on. They didn't know him. I didn't know him. However, when I first met Jim, he has, as you can see, Jim is Italian and he's very dark complected. When I met him, he had one of those Cheech and Chong's skull caps. It was down
Yeah.
right here. Okay, it was a Navy
Fu
SEAL.
Manchu.
He had a jet black Fu Manchu that came down, and it literally at the ends it was braided with the bones of victims.
You had it braided. You're one of those.
Jim Toscano was so badass, and he had a gray members-only jacket on. Now, nobody had the cojones to wear a members-only jacket, but Jim pulled it off. And Jim, he had these really broad shoulders, and I thought I just did, hey, man, what you proud of, Paco? And I was just waiting for him to just unload on me. And he goes,
wow.
And he was just like,
I guess, Spanish speaking that weekend.
You were. I don't know if you remember, but you were very fluent in Spanish. But I remember just saying, what a nice guy. He's like this huge Rocky fan. And we were talking, Jim, do you remember the guy? He was a doctor or a doctor's rep. He sold doctor equipment or something. He was an older guy with dark hair, and he had a big trench coat on. He was very distinguished.
Kind of just stopped in for a minute, right?
Yeah, this guy, he was a very accomplished guy. And, Jim and I were, Jesus, that was 15 years ago, right? So 50, so 40, 30, I don't know, 34, 35, 36 years old, right around there. And, that was kind of impressive that Jim and I were hanging around this guy. Anyways, Jim, we just kept talking throughout the day, and it was very, very interesting. Jim, were you there when Frank came by and started taking the video of me with the painting?
Yep. Yeah, I remember Frank being there. Yep.
Yeah, what Frank Stallone had done, I actually thought was nothing short of brilliant. He had one of those old JVC little tape cameras, the videotape cameras, and he was videoing all the behind-the-scenes thing. I talked to Frank about this. There is hours and hours of behind-the-scenes documentation that Frank took from the training, the developing on-site in Philly, the arena out in Vegas. I mean, the whole thing. They never saw the light of day. Never saw it. You can actually see Frank videotaping during the fight with Mason Dixon. If you look closely, the upper right-hand side of the screen, you will see Frank videoing with his camera. Never saw the light of day. It was amazing.
Yeah, and sometimes the behind-the-scenes stuff is even more exciting.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Which, by the way, Jim, I want to come back to this for a moment. I never asked you, Jim, what you thought of the documentary of Stallone's recut of Rocky IV that Hertzfeld did.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, Jesus, Jim. I set you up softball, man.
You haven't seen it. All right. Thanks for coming, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Yep.
Bye. We'll get a real Rocky fan.
I've seen the movie, though.
Jim, is Danny there? Is Danny Janino there? Give me somebody who saw the.
Race.
Okay, how about this? Did you see the trailer?
Wait, no, the movie. I saw the movie. You're talking about the doc behind the scenes?
Yeah, the doc.
I didn't see the doc. I saw the new Drago versus Rocky.
What'd you think, Jim?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Me too.
It's like two different movies. As a kid, I liked the one I saw, back then.
Yeah.
And
did you have a favorite part of all the new cuts?
Yeah, that was
what
my
stood
question.
out to you as that was brilliant to do that?
Yeah, the Drago before he fights Apollo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beforehand.
Yes.
It was all through Drago's eyes this time. It wasn't a show for the audience. If you look, I don't know, you guys might have already talked about this, but if there's so many shots of Drago's eyes looking around.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe you guys have talked about this, but it's all his point of view, which is way better point of view because the first film, it was like to entertain us, I felt like, oh, Jay.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Wow, look at all this circus stuff. But this time you felt embarrassed for everyone because you're looking at it through Drago's eyes. And like Stallone, I'm sure wanted to do, you felt a little bad for Drago.
Yes.
Intimidating. What the hell kind of circus is this? So that was my favorite part because that changed dramatically. The feel of it changed dramatically. Yeah. Without very much change, really, except for the shots of the eyes and, they cut to everyone's point of view. Most Drago's, which I thought was super cool.
I thought it was really surprising at the end of the fight when Rocky touches his glove, goes to his corner. Yeah. And they hit. Do you remember that, Mike?
I actually got very emotional. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, did I see it? No, didn't see it, Jim. See,
how long does this go for? How long are we gonna be on?
You're here for 2 hours.
the video? Yeah.
Okay, so get comfortable and get the coffee.
I'm trying to figure out how long I can fool around. I got coffee and water, so
you do it, Jim. You need a bathroom break. You need to take a nap. We're just
no
gonna
problem. We have a clown that comes in and entertains people while you go in and out.
We got a little person on a horse and
Yeah.
an electric car, so it's all good.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite moment was not only the end of the fight where Rocky touches gloves, because that is something Rocky would do.
Right.
Rocky
100%.
he's better than us. Instead of saying like, yeah, I beat you, Drago, after you killed my best friend, he would let it go. Because he can't bring Apollo back, but he could try to heal emotionally by touching gloves. And the other thing, and I don't even know if you guys are aware of this. Stacy will probably know, and Lorenzo if you saw the show. But the thing that I loved, and it caught me totally off guard, when Adrian is begging Rocky not to go to Russia. It's inside the house, and you hear Paulie yell, "Come on, the meter's running." You hear now. We were always outside. We saw Paulie. We were standing alongside Paulie for 30 years, 35 years. For the original Rocky IV, we were there by the side of the limo when Paulie yells this.
Yeah,
we didn't know what was going on inside. All we saw was Rocky with the sheepskin over his shoulder and Adrian in the red sweater looking down the window. But now we have this beautiful scene between Rocky and Adrian, and then we hear. Wait a minute. We were outside with Paulie. That's where we were. And that one moment took me back to 1985 to being this epic loser alone in a theater filled with Rocky fans, no girlfriend, failing out of high school. I knew I was going to end up doing nothing with my life, but I was captivated by that moment. And so now, I mean, it's to see Stallone. Sly knew people were with Paulie then, and to throw that back in was genius.
Yeah.
Was there anything you guys missed that they cut out or changed that you missed?
The sweatsuit, the Italian sweatsuit I missed.
Dude, Danny was wearing that today, and I'm not kidding.
There is a reason I love Danny.
I told him stick around because you're dressed for it.
Come on! I wish Danny was there.
That's so funny.
So if anyone is wondering who is Danny, Danny is Jim's work partner, and these two are the
creator of the Pretender. For sure.
Danny really was a co-creator, and Danny is every bit as sweet and likable and lovable as Jim is. Jim.
Well, on your filmmaking, Jim. Yeah. So how do you go from being a documentary filmmaker to making The Pretender? Can you take us through like what happens? Do you get this idea? For people who don't know, if you can go over that, like how that came about.
Real quick, back to Rocky versus Drago. Sorry, but the one thing I missed, did you guys miss in the fight when Rocky is fighting Drago, like the audio, the old sound effects of the punch?
Oh yeah.
I liked it in Creed. I thought this is cool because you heard that it was more realistic, and then which is great, and it was cool in Rocky versus Drago too. But I did miss the old like super fight, like the that stuff when you were a kid was the coolest. And when I watched regular boxing as a kid, I was so disappointed. Like, what is this?
Yeah, I used to try to punch going, why don't my fists make that noise? I'm not Rocky, that's why.
Why doesn't it sound like a shotgun blast when I punch a
guy? A car crash. Why not?
Why does it sound like chains hitting broken glass? It just sounds like a wet thud. Like that's it. That's a good point, Jim.
Did you guys miss that? Did you notice it? Or
no, that was the first thing I saw, and actually I enjoyed the newness of it because it made it more realistic to me.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah.
It was more brutal. I thought the sounds were more brutal, more visceral. I was like, it was more painful to watch.
I can't see. I have been so negative on Rocky IV for decades. I really have. I mean, you could go back and see all of my interviews I've ever done, and I never was very kind to Rocky IV. But I have to tell you, Jim brings up a valid point. You do tend to you're indoctrinated into Rocky 4. I mean, you 35 years. It's what we watch over and over and over and over. And so when it's gone, it was jarring. Like the opening 7 minutes was Rocky 3. It wasn't bad. It was good. I like that. I like the buildup leading up into Apollo. That was fine. I didn't have a problem with that. But you do miss certain things. And that Italian sweatsuit, that Adidas Italian sweatsuit.
There it is.
I miss it. I really missed it.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jim, how about Lorenzo's question? What do you think? How did that happen for you?
Well, it's fun. It kind of started happening as I started to get into this career. It was going to be, one of the first things I ever did was going to be a little 5-minute piece on Mike. And I thought I got like my first camera, and I thought, well, Mike's super interesting. I may not be the most experienced guy, but he'll carry it. He'll carry this 5-minute piece so people will watch my work. And then, like, as I've said before, like, as soon as I started filming them, there was two things. As soon as I started filming them, it was like, okay, this guy isn't bullshitting me. This isn't an act that he's putting on so that we come and film him. It was like, oh my God, this is all true, plus more,
Jim kept trying to dial 911 to help me.
it was great. And, it was unbelievable, but it was great. And then the second thing was when I interviewed his parents on that first trip out to Scranton. Like, I mean, I looked at, I had my brother-in-law with me then kind of helping, be like a production assistant. And I said to him, like, this isn't 5 minutes. We can't screw this up. We can't rush this. This is cool, man. This is like this could be like the documentaries that I like to watch, have you guys seen Fistful of Quarters, the King of Kong?
Yes, I saw that. Oh yeah. I saw it a few years ago.
Yeah, that's a great movie. And that's the kind of movie documentary I like. And I think we pulled that off. I think I told Mike before, like, if you, at one point you went on Amazon and it was like other documentaries that you may like, and some of my favorites were up there, and it was like, holy shit, this is what we meant to do, but
did you knew Mike? And did you hear about him? Is that what brought you to Philly? You heard about this guy who likes Rocky, or did you just happen to go to Philly and everywhere you went, you heard Mike Kunda?
Right. It was just a fluke that I was in Philly and a fluke that I happened to meet him.
Oh, okay.
And then it just kind of stuck in my brain. And then, I couldn't forget because, back then there wasn't as much social media. So it was like Mike said, look me up on the Stallone Zone.
Stallone Zone. Yeah, I know the Stallone Zone.
Oh yeah,
like the Twilight Zone, but for Rocky,
right.
Every once in a while, it'd be like, well, let me see what's going on there. And Mike was always like, just had commented, or
right.
It was always like fresh. And then, like I said, I took a couple film classes. I went to school for business and marketing, and then I was kind of getting done with that, getting bored with it, and just wanted to do what I always wanted to do. And at the same time, that's when I met Mike, and it just worked out.
So then when you met him, this idea just came into your head about doing a story about him. And then as time went on, you're like, we just got to do this. Is that how it just came about then?
Yep. I finally one day said, let's go, in 2 weeks from now, let's go. And it was just me and one other guy, and he bailed on me. And I still went and just grabbed my brother-in-law. So just two of us and went down there and just started filming. And I think that's the best way to do it, just.
So did you have like a script in mind, or you like, what, let's just interview everyone and see what organically happens?
Yeah, it was more of the latter. Yeah, I kind of thought for sure at the beginning, I had no script in mind, but I thought let's just see what makes this guy tick. That was like the best. Frank Stallone said that when he promoted the film. He said, watch this documentary. It's all about Mike Kunda, the world's best, Rocky impersonator, and what makes him tick. And I thought that's kind of the one-liner.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tick, So I
Yeah.
was,
You know, when Jim is at the house, Jim comes to the house in we're living in Camp Hill, and he's like he said, he got the new camera.
yeah,
He didn't even know how to work the camera.
with audio.
And I kind of motion Sue into the bedroom, and I go, "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I don't know what we did. This guy doesn't even know how to work a camera."
Right. And how weird. You just had this guy in your house. And his
Yeah,
brother-in-law and and
That's it.
Yeah. No, see, I like that though. I think coming from someone who's a filmmaker, because what that means is all this guy has is all heart and all a vision of this is a great story.
Yeah.
So I think
It was.
and that's the best way to learn, is just buy a camera and do it.
Yeah.
When we started doing The Pretender, and I could talk about I'm not going to. Jim, I actually want to have you back on at another point, but I really want to make sure your schedule is fully wide open.
Oh, I'm open.
But I'm intrigued. Number one, that Jim saw whatever he saw in me to do this Pretender thing, because this Pretender changed my life.
Yeah.
It did. It's as equal as the Rocky contest. This Pretender was the final. What would the opposite of the last nail in the coffin be? What's the opposite of that? Because I know it's a metaphor I can't even think of.
Big Bang Theory.
What's that, Jim?
The Big Bang.
It may be the Big Bang between Stallone and I. I know that sounds very erogenous. Okay, so but what I mean is, and I'm kind of all over the place, but I will come back to a center kind of like linear line. The big moment for Jim and I happened because of COVID. If it wasn't for COVID, I don't think this would have happened.
Yeah.
Let me go back. Let me go back before COVID. I've talked about this, not as much as I'd like to. I mean, who doesn't like talking about themselves? So
you're not usually like this. I mean, this is unusual.
No,
this is crazy.
come on. Forget about it. And so it's let me be the Golden Girls. Let me paint a picture.
Okay.
It's Philadelphia, 2018, and I'm on the set of Creed 2. And Stallone and I are out front of the Victor Cafe. We're just down the street. We're like 30 feet down. We're standing in front of these black marked out mirrors, blacked out mirrors with this orange brick. He's got the Rocky hat on. Now, what a lot of people don't know is this was the halfway point in the day of filming. When Drago and Rocky confront each other in the restaurant in Creed 2, that scene was filmed during the day. What they did was put a black tarp around the front windows and doors, and it looked black. Then they intercut it with actual night scenes looking out the window and then looking into the window. So you assume it's all nighttime. So halfway through filming, they took a break. Stallone goes out the door, and I'm upstairs. I'm upstairs in the manager's office watching all of it take place on security system with Alexa DiStefano. Greg DiStefano was with us up to this point, the owners of the Victor Cafe. He just left. He calls on the cell and he goes, "Mike, get your ass down here. Sly is all by himself on the side of the building smoking a cigar." I go down, and Sly had just endorsed me on his Instagram for the tours. And so I go over and I go, "Hey, Sly," I go, "Hey, Mike Kunda from the Yo Philly Rocky Film Tour. Just want to say thank you for the big endorsement 3 days ago."
Who?
Yeah. No, he didn't say who. He didn't say who, you wise ass. Security, get this guy out of here. Stalker on set. No, so he takes a big puff of the cigar, blows it out, and he puts it down in front of him. And it was not cocky, but it was like that. He looks at me and he goes, "Yeah, I know who you are." You don't expect your idol to say that.
Yeah. That's pretty epic.
Now, when he said that, Mike, did you like die a little bit? Like, oh my God, all this time as a kid, people saying no, and now he knows who I am.
Yeah, at that point, in a tenth of a second, I was like, "Ooh." But then I had to go like, "No, be cool, Mike. Be cool." Just I go.
We're interviewing Mike now, Jim. So you just got to wait, okay? Okay.
But this plays in.
Come back. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
This is how we got Sly to be in the movie. Okay, because Sly is in The Pretender. So I thought this might be an interesting segue. So Sly, we're talking, we're going back and forth. And what a lot of people don't know is Drago's right over our head. So the footage you see of me and Sly talking in the movie, Drago is just like out of my left shoulder camera range.
Mhm.
And he's laughing and he's looking at everything going on. He's listening. And so there wasn't a lull in the conversation. But when I got done one sentence, Sly goes, Mike, you got your camera? I said, yeah. And he goes, well, listen, why don't you give it to my assistant, Sarah? Sarah Paterno was her name. Sarah, why don't you video me and Mike? And Mike, you're still working on this movie, The Pretender, right? Now, Jim, we were all done by this point.
Yeah,
we were done.
Yeah.
Totally done. Jim was going to end the movie with the picture of me, Sly holding my book, cue the Rocky music. That was going to be the big reveal. He got the book somehow, and that was it. So then he goes, why don't we take a video of us for like, I don't know, 5 minutes. Let's just talk. Let's just go at it. And then you could use it on your website. You can put it in the Pretender, do whatever you want. You got my blessing. I just want to be part of your journey. And I was like, oh my God, he didn't want any money for nothing. He just wanted to be part of my journey. And I have to be careful. I got to really be careful talking about this because I will get very, very emotional because that is something you'd never expect.
Your idol is saying, good job. Let's do it. Let me contribute to your life.
Exactly. And that's all he wanted to do. And so when I told Jim, when I told you, what did you feel?
Well, I thought it was awesome, that they had that talk and he recognized it. But to be honest, the goal was not to get him in the film, to get Sly in the film. And I almost, you guys are going to kill me, but I almost sometimes feel like it'd be stronger without him in it, without Sly in it, because
I would disagree.
It's I know.
I think I disagree too.
There's remember
Larry Holmes, Chuck Wepner. We had all those guys. We went and interviewed them.
But so, why I wanted it to be and what it is about Mike's journey, and it's about Mike being okay with himself and that kind of thing. The goal, I don't feel like the goal of the film, and I also kind of don't feel like the goal of Mike's life is to meet Sly. It's not, in my mind, it's not about that. It's about Mike being Mike.
Totally agree with you on that. Yeah, 100%.
And there's a couple of ways. The ideal way the first way, the instinct to end the film was, and I got, we all got choked up in the room, like when we first had the very first cut with the very first ending. And it was about, Mike, and it was about at the end, he kind of had a rough time at the restaurant. Has anyone not seen the movie? I don't want to give any spoilers. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you kidding? This is the Rocky Files. Yeah. Everyone has seen this, or they can't subscribe to anything on the Rocky Files.
Jim, our 48 followers have seen The Pretender, okay?
We have over 200 now.
You tell her, yeah.
It's about at the end, Mike is at the restaurant and he struggled and he overcame, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's this little pause and, I forget exactly how it goes. But then all of a sudden, Mike's happy with himself and he's helping the world, right? Yeah. He's running up the stairs with all kinds of different people. You see people smiling on the tours. And at the very end, it's I think we hear from his parents and one guy called this out at the first screening. He said, I love the mom. I love this guy's mom because she doesn't say much. She's giving his dad looks. It's beautiful. It was like a mix of When Harry Met Sally mixed with, it was just staring at him. And at the end, she says, that's my son.
That's my son. That was so sweet.
I loved it.
Gets me every time. I'm getting tear-eyed right now. Thinking of her saying that. It's
I know what you're talking about, not showing Sly at the end, because I like Sly at the end. It's obviously good because it's like the full picture, but I see what you're saying because you watch this and you see this guy who was good at a lot of stuff. Policeman, he did well at that, but he wants to be Rocky. And the message, first of all, a movie's good, Jim, where within 10 seconds, you can tell if a movie's going to suck or if it's going to be great. And instantly, I saw 10 seconds of it. It was great.
Right.
But message I got was that, you got to do the things you want in life. And 25 years ago, if someone would have said, Mike, don't worry, you're going to make a living at that and do lots of stuff, Mike would have probably even went, I think you've been doing something. And look at you now. So that's the message there, is to, find what you love and you'll work a career into it. And I really enjoyed it. You did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, and then Mike, I haven't watched it in a while. I almost watched it the other day. One time there was, anyway, I'm getting off. I watched it about a year ago, right before Sly posted about it.
Yeah.
And I went on to see, how's it doing? I looked at it and I watched the first 5 minutes and then I'm like, God, this is pretty good.
Yeah, it is good.
It's very good. Oh my God.
3/4 of the way through it, and my wife walked in and said, are you serious? Are you watching it? I said, it's pretty good, And then really like a week later, I think Sly posted about it. But anyway.
Now, what's that like?
That was my question.
About somebody who.
Yeah.
So Mike wants to be Rocky. But at that moment, he wants to be Rocky and do all that. What's the feeling now? You made a movie essentially about this guy who likes Rocky. Rocky is saying, if you're a Rocky fan, you have to watch this movie.
Yeah.
So what feelings do you feel?
What was that moment? Yeah.
Jim, I gotta say something, and then I want you to take it over.
Yeah.
You gotta imagine all of you three and everyone listening to us right now. Imagine how bad it could have gone.
Oh,
Sylvester Stallone is watching this during COVID, and maybe he wasn't in a mood to be gracious, or he was. But what if he wasn't? What if I annoyed the hell out of him?
Yeah.
He wouldn't have said anything. He's too nice.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But the opposite happened.
But you're right. Yeah.
Jim, when Sue and I called you at 3:00 in the morning when we saw it, what went through your mind?
Yeah, no, like you said, Stacy. I mean, it's the best. I mean, it's the best. It's pretty mind blowing. I mean, I watched.
It's the Oscar.
As a kid with my brothers, thinking, it's almost like not a real guy,
Yeah.
And then it's mind blowing. I mean, and then I got to make a film about subject matter that not only that it's Rocky, but a character driven documentary.
Right.
And Stallone is also a filmmaker, and he watches it and talks about it.
Yeah.
It's pretty unbelievable. Yeah.
Very unbelievable.
It's crazy. I mean, he's like, there's De Niro, Pacino, and Stallone.
Right.
And one of these guys watched it and liked it so much that he Instagrammed about it.
And then it was trending with instantly.
Oh, dude, it was.
Yeah.
I just read something because I was, talking to Gravitas, like 245,000 views or something like that. People watching it. But
that's not bad. They got to be somewhat happy.
Oh, of course they're. Jim, we actually spoke. It's funny that we're talking now. When you were doing film festivals, I found out about about this movie because I love Rocky, and then I reached out to you because I saw the trailer, and then you might remember somebody saying, "Oh, do you need any help with distribution?"
Oh yeah.
And I gave you. I was telling you about my distributor for my films.
Yeah. What was the name of the distributor?
Indie Rights Films.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and you were telling me, I got Gravitas, and we're doing film festivals and blah blah blah. But thank you. I'll look into them.
Yeah, I looked into everything. Yeah, because it's all fun for me. Like even the business of it is it's all cool, man. I mean, even getting production insurance, I find myself like, oh, sweet.
Oh, I know what you mean. I have yet to do a production insurance. We're like, we do this. You're So since you're talking about filmmaking, you make a living at filmmaking.
Yeah.
You're doing very well. You have a freaking studio. Awesome. So what's the best advice you would have for filmmakers who want to make a living at it?
Well, I think like you said, Lorenzo, like just do it. Number one, like even if it's for free. I think I know the first piece I did that got paid for was like $75 for a local pizzeria, to do a little video. So yeah, number one is just do it. And then, number two is just make it be fun. No matter, even if it seems like the most boring subject matter, you gotta like find your way into it.
Yeah.
Where you're either learning something or you're having fun with your buddies on set, or you take a boring thing and really challenge yourself to make it cool, things like that. It's got to be fun, man. Every single shoot, like, we did something recently. We had a bunch of, it was for Ford, and we had a bunch of talent. I think we had like 12 actors, actors and actresses, and we had a fun time. And everyone at the end, oh, it was really fun. And all I say when people say that is good. It better be. It's supposed to be. If it's not, then we're all just working.
Yeah.
So it's just got to be fun, man. It's got to be fun.
Jim,
life's too short for it not to be fun, man. For you not to love what you do.
For sure.
100%.
Oh God, yeah. That would be like the understory in The Pretender.
Yeah.
Did you, Jim? The one question I have, I don't know that I've ever asked you. We must have talked 1,000 times on text and phone calls, whatever.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment that hit you during Pretender that you said, you know what? This is something special. I think we got some legs here. When was that?
You know what? This I don't know why I thought of this. I think when we went to Rocky's apartment.
Oh, really?
The guy started yelling and you
smashing the bottles?
Yeah. And when you got upset, it was like another level where I thought, this is freaking raw, dude. This is
visceral.
This guy is getting upset. This just happened, first of all, while the cameras are rolling.
Yeah.
Which is, awesome. Like we're in.
Yeah. That's great. That's the data you want.
That. Yeah.
All my favorite parts of The Pretender are parts where it's present, where we're doing something. The restaurant, the alley, by Rocky's apartment.
Yeah.
Things that are like happening right now, and those are the hardest things to get. They take time, they take patience, they take money. I got to go from Detroit to Philly and sit there and wait for something to happen. But when that happened, and I just told myself, this is super uncomfortable. Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling.
Yeah.
Just go through this, and experience this so that the viewers can experience this.
Yeah.
And the fact that Mike wasn't putting on, if he faked it, we'd all know, like, oh God, he's pretending that he likes this place so much but it was so real. There was like adrenaline, like, oh man,
Yeah.
And then there's also, it's also like it weighs on the filmmakers too. You have to be responsible. Like, you can't look at, he's all upset, because I don't want to make that kind of film, and I don't want anyone to, anyone ever to be disrespected or laugh at it, laugh at anything. But that was kind of, I've never been asked that question, but surprisingly, that's the first thing that just came to mind, where I knew that we were making a real film. We were making a real documentary at that point.
Right.
Not a testimonial,
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen Jim. You and I have talked about documentaries that have just been, oh, look at how great I am. Look at all these people talking about me.
No, you see the love that you have of Rocky there, and that's what you right away when you're seeing this.
Yeah.
And being that there's the Rocky IV director's cut, is there anything you would do different in Pretender? Recut?
Good question.
Oh, great question. Yeah.
The one thing I really wanted to do, there's probably a bunch of things. I'll say the first one that comes to mind. Mike, I don't remember what year it was, but you had your high school reunion.
Yes.
And you didn't go.
And
I wanted to go with you to that so bad, and just, I don't know what was going to happen, what would have came out of it, and that's the exciting part. But I had like I didn't know you as much then. It was like towards the beginning.
Yeah.
And you said you had the reunion, and I thought, man, there would be something magical there. Definitely interesting.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was the one of the only times until we were done shooting where I kind of wasn't scripting it, but I had like an ideal scenario.
Yeah.
Of what would have happened.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You actually, we had several.
You gonna go?
Yeah, you had pushed hard for it. And I had turned it down, and that was all me. That was all my insecurities because I knew what was going to happen. I knew if I had gone to that reunion, I knew I would just be bait for the Sharks. I knew I was so disliked in high school. I really was just not, because in school I did not have any type of physical prowess. I couldn't fight back to save my life. That came later. So then I just had my big mouth, and I brought a lot of dislike of my classmates towards me, on me. I did that. I own that. But you go forward now all these years, and I remember I was asked by a lot of people, are you going to go? You're going to go. And I kind of was kind of cocky about it, but I was just hiding my insecurities. Mm-hmm. And I had said, no, I said, anybody that's in my life that I care about, that wants to hear about my life, I talk to them weekly. I said, nobody there really cares. And they were like, oh, only special people want to hear about Mike Kunda's life. That just made it worse. All these years later, I just made it worse.
Yeah. That was like, we were only filmed maybe a couple times with you up until that point. And in my head, I remembered I was starting to already like cut stuff together if you went. And I had this idea. I've never talked about this out loud. I think I talked to Danny about it, but I told another person about it. But like when Mike signs the book to Sly, he's at the post office and he's writing, he's addressing the book to Sly. And what's cut from the film is Mike I said, dude, while we're here, why don't you do a promo for your book? And we did like 5 takes. And he was like, hey, I'm Mike. And I did this book. And then, let me do it. And then finally, like, took a minute. And he came in as like 85% Rocky. He's like, yo, if you want to check out this book. And it was like,
put that on the Instagram, will you? Put that on the Instagram, Jim.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Are you kidding? Sly follows you and me. Yeah. Why not put that on there? He would love that shit.
So Mike did like a perfect take, as Rocky, and Stu said, I think you nailed that one because you did it as Rocky. And he said, yeah. So the idea, if you went to the reunion, I had, this was like, I'm making it up, because we didn't know what was happening. I would never make things happen. But I had this idea that you go to the reunion and you're 100% Mike. Yeah. And it's like you did it as Mike, the end. You know what I mean? Like you overcame, you have this thing and you're right. But for that 2 hours, no shields, no costume, no nothing. I'm Mike. And I wanted, that was like, I just started to know you. And that was like an idea that I
Jim,
had.
That is actually a brilliant idea. Yeah. I never would have had the cojones to show up as me. Never.
There's another reunion coming up, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, but
Pretender. Director's cut, Rocky versus Mike.
I could just see my high school graduating class. We'll all be like in wheelchairs and oxygen tanks. It's just not going to look good. No, but I would never have the courage to show up at my high school reunion as myself. I would show up as me and hybrid light Rocky. It would be like Rocky Light. It would be because there'd be no way. Too many insecurities from high school would kick in. And it's just some things you just never get over. And I'm not going to get into it too much, but there are just some things you just never can let go of. And Rocky, like Jim said it perfectly, that was the shield. That is the shield to protect against everything. When Rocky wears the leather jacket and the hat, that's his suit of armor. My suit of armor is Rocky. And so I put that on. Whatever. Say whatever you want. You're not going to hurt me. You can't hurt me. It's impossible to hurt me as Rocky. But as Mike, maybe we're a little broken as Mike. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Well, he's giving you a hug. How nice is that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on, Mike. Come here.
Just burp on his back. No,
Yeah,
seriously.
and back to when you said about Sly, Sly watching the film and posting about it.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing, I mean, it's almost like too good because what do we do next? But we had Sly.
So true, yeah.
You know, my top 3 favorite actors. You know, and then Sebastian Maniscalco, my favorite comedian right now. You know, Chappelle's number. They're up there neck and neck. But Sebastian, takes the time to watch the movie.
He did.
Yeah, and you put that on your Instagram page about it.
I just thought it a year ago and it popped up on something.
Yeah, he was really honest. I liked his viewpoint of like, he's like, this guy, I'm thinking he's going to be ready for a straitjacket. But no, you love the guy right away.
Oh, Maniscalco was honest, all right. No, he was honest. Yeah. So was AJ Benza. AJ Benza did a whole review on The Pretender.
He liked it.
He did like it, but he did call me somewhat mental, and he wondered what was wrong with Sue. He goes, this guy is born that way. But then his wife, he goes, get this, his wife says yes to marrying this mental guy. He goes, this is incredible.
I got to re-listen to that.
Oh, yeah. I played that about 6 months ago for Sue. We listened to AJ Benza. For those of you who don't know who we're talking about, AJ Benza played one. He was in Rocky Balboa. He played one of the promoters in Rocky Balboa. And so just Google AJ Benza. Yeah. He has a show.
He's a, what do you call it? Gossip columnist. One of the first gossip columnists, you know, before TMZ, before all that. He was the man. You know, he had like I think he wrote for one of the Post. And then he had his own show, like, what is it, Fame as a Bitch or something like that.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
So that's his thing. But I think he liked it. But Sebastian's reaction, it was the kind of the ideal reaction, you know, like.
Yeah. You
100%.
suck them in. You think I'm going to be a nut job. And then all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute.
Like, wait, am I
he's a nut job I like, you know?
Right, yeah, because he's telling him, he's like, so where he's talking, and then all of a sudden, just randomly goes into Rocky. Yeah. And the guy Sebastian's talking to, he's like, I gotta see this person.
Yeah. And he hates it. And Pete Curry, he hates it. He doesn't get it. Pete doesn't like any of it. He rags on me. And then Sebastian caves into peer pressure and he starts crapping on me. I'm like, God damn it.
That's true. That is kind of true. You know he liked it, Sebastian.
I know.
And then he like, you know, it was like schoolyard stuff. Like, yeah, I don't like it either. Yeah, I was just kidding. Yeah. You know,
well, they did a thing. Sebastian was just in Atlantic City doing a show, and then he was in Philly doing a show, and they wanted me to come down and do a thing as Rocky, and I was like, nah, I think I'll pass. I'm not over it yet.
might have been a good choice because maybe he might not have been nice if you came.
You know, what are you gonna do?
There's just no need for that. That sort of stuff is just.
Jim, do you remember the first moment you saw Rocky? What Rocky movie did you see? And what impact did it have on you?
I think I remember. I remember. I was probably 10 years old, and it was Rocky 3 on TV in my living room.
Nice.
I said earlier with my brother, and I remember even holding. This is so funny. This is so stupid.
It's gonna be great. We can't wait.
Holding a He-Man action figure. And watching it with my brother, you know, my brother's cool. You know, he was cool, man. He was 80s cool. He was like, you know, the epitome of the 80s cool. And he said, you know, you got to watch this movie. You know, this is Rocky. This is, you know, you got to watch this. So I was at it, and I remember just getting fired up. And that, I always remember, you know, God, I forget, but what pumped me up was when he was just pounding away at Mr. T.
Yeah.
And you ain't so tough. You ain't bad. You ain't bad.
Oh yeah, when he said, my mother is better than that.
And I remember looking like as a dumb kid, like He-Man meet Rocky. You know, like, these are two.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember.
That's great.
I just got it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, with my older brother, with my He-Man.
That's great.
And Rocky 3, and him just. You know,
that's good.
Snapping back.
Did you ever do this as a kid? Whenever I would get into a fight, there'd be someone in the background that would say, "Hey, put on the Rocky music for Lorenzo. He'll win then." Yeah. As soon as you hear that, you think you could beat up anybody.
Right.
Oh, that's great.
I even remember the Rocky 5. like Stallone with the takedowns all of a sudden. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Street fight.
Yeah, the street fighting.
Love
guy.
that.
I remember just trying to get on my buddies, like, you know, getting pissed and like, all right, I'm going to take you down this way. I remember doing that.
Hook the leg and sweep him up.
Yeah, he goes that.
I don't even know what he was doing or what I was doing, but just that like kind of hook to the leg and roll over. Like, what the hell?
That gives me such a great idea for an Instagram post. I love that. I love that.
Oh, God.
I love that. Jim, what?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to keep you much longer because I know you're a very busy guy, and I don't want Lucia to get mad at me because actually Jim's wife, Lucia, is one of the sweetest human beings on the planet. She's sweet and adorable. She's just the kindest thing. She was so nice to my family when she was out there, and Jim's he's got the most beautiful children. I mean, really, you got to get home to them. You got to stop gabbing with us. Yeah. But I have two last questions.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
That was one of the things too. I think Lorenzo, you asked about it. Like when I said, "Yeah, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go shoot this."
Yeah.
Like the first time, and I'm thinking this is insane. I rented a car. You know, I rented some gear. I bought the camera, and I went to leave. And I said to my wife, "All right, Lucia, I'll see you." And she said, "Like, good luck, Jim." And I thought, "Oh shit, she's taking this serious."
Yeah.
I got it. This is serious now. You know, I'm leaving my family for the weekend.
Yeah.
Taking this serious. I got to take this serious.
All right.
That was, I'll never forget that, man. That was cool.
Interesting.
God damn it. Now you remind me of something else. All right. So I'm going to say, I'm going to try to, I'm going to be late.
I don't know what I'm
Get Lucia on the phone. All right. So let's try to go quickly here. So, Jim, do you remember when you had it all done and you flew from Seattle to Philadelphia and you drove from Philadelphia to my house to show me and Sue The Pretender? Just kind of put together real quick how you felt about that.
I have time. Yeah. No, that was that. I forgot about. I kind of haven't thought about that in a while, but talk about stress. I mean, physical and mental stress. So we had a week-long like Toyota shoot in Seattle. And the film for the first time ever was going to be shown to everyone we knew here in Detroit. And I had the idea, and this was probably me kidding myself, you know, like Mike doesn't need to see it. His parents don't, no one needs to see it beforehand. We'll all watch it in the theater together. And as it got closer, I thought that is not a good idea. That is, I won't be able to enjoy it. Mike won't be able to enjoy it. And if he hates something in it, it's too late and it's going to be terrible, right? But I was just stressing out about it. So I was in Seattle and I was supposed to fly home and then probably the movie showed later that weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't take it anymore. I diverted the flight. I got a new flight from Seattle to Philly, not knowing I could have flew into somewhere super close to your house at the
right.
So I flew in at night. I mean, I was up all night. I went I landed at the hotel, finally took a shower, came to your house. I probably got to your house at 11 o'clock p.m.
It was late.
And we're sitting there, we had a beer, and I said, well, you want to watch it? And Sue's like, it's about time. Let's do this. And the stress of it was me, Sue, and Mike watching the story of his life for the first time. You know, no one had seen it. My wife saw it. You know, Dan. You know, 3 people saw it.
Yeah.
The stress was unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that shit. That's what you need. Stress. That's a good stress, man. You got to go through it, man. And I thought I made a film about this guy. He let me in. I owe it to him to forget the stress. The stress, you know, I owe him the stress. You know, like let's face to face, not hiding behind 400 people at the theater or here, Mike, you watch it and let me know what you think. It was great. I'll never forget that. You know, that builds character for all of us. And when it was over, Mike said, you know, I think you said something like, Jim, that was a goddamn good documentary. And I was like, hey,
oh yeah.
Let's have another beer.
Yeah, we did.
Stress is gone. How did you come up with the name? Because were you thinking like I Love Rocky or the Rocky guy? How did Pretender come about?
That was a process.
Yeah, surprisingly, it took forever, man. I thought it'd be the easiest thing. I thought.
So what were the choices?
There was another Rocky.
Another Rocky.
It's kind of lame.
Yeah.
There was another Rocky. I wouldn't really do this, but we were kind of kidding around. But it was Rocky 2.
Oh.
Oh, cute. That's actually kind of.
That would have been fun. That would have been good.
Yeah. Like Rocky and Mike.
Rocky and Mike. No, that's good. Yeah, there was something close to that though, like Rocky Mike. Like something's Rocky or something like that.
Yeah.
There was something like that. God, there was another one. Another Rocky. That was it. Another. Did I already say that one?
Yeah, but another Rocky. I think Pretender is pretty. It's good. Yeah. That's
nobody, and I mean nobody in my life and my family liked that name.
I remember your dad saying,
my dad was offended. My wife Sue was offended. Nobody.
What offended them? Like what exactly?
The pretender.
Like not the real thing, right?
Like Mike is not a pretender. Mike's doing this for a career. He's doing this for a life.
Yeah.
And I said, no, that's it.
Yeah.
The pretender.
Yeah.
I have pretended my whole life.
Yeah.
And the ironic thing is now I am.
Yeah, I don't see it as like a negative thing. It's more.
No,
I see it as like a positive.
When Jim said it, I said, the pretender's it.
Yeah. How did that pretender come about? Where were you that pretender came into the head?
I remember.
Or was it a wife that said it?
I remember saying to Danny, like, let's call it the pretender. And he was like, "Yeah, let's just let's do that." I can't
just from the point of view of me pretending as a kid and all that, right?
Triggered, like a boxing match that I saw, and they said, he's no pretender. This guy is for real. Something like that.
Right.
And I thought,
the
pretender. Contender.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it's good. It's good.
And, it's short. I think it hooks people, and it looks great, like on the
poster. Well, and the poster's good with him. I think it was running up the steps. I mean,
when I was 14 years old, running up. Jim, my last question on this, and then I have my ultimate last question I ask everybody. The poster. You did tell me this, but I'd like everybody to know what were the original ideas for the poster, and how did you come up with what we ended up going with?
A buddy of mine that helped with the film quite a bit, Mike Carter. He's a graphic designer. So we worked with him and another guy, Matt Arnold, closely. We were bouncing ideas and sending reference photos and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And, the main thing was we wanted it to convey, it is a new poster, but there is, you see Mike, that's an old photo. So you immediately know what it took me a whole trip to Philly to learn is that this has been going on forever. This guy isn't bullshitting. This is his picture when he was a kid, and now he's, in his 40s, 50s. So that was the main hook. So it was like something new and to show it's a new film, but something old to show there is some depth in this documentary,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and the
you did it.
Of it. There's like, if you look close at it, it's all on purpose. There's like fake tape marks and real tape marks.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Like that was stuff that Mike would do, or we'd all do. Is like keep up a poster and add another picture and I love one of my favorite photos that Mike has is I think you're like a teenager and you're doing this.
But in high school, Jim, black and white,
on himself with the Sharpie.
It's on the back of the DVD cover.
The back of the DVD. That is my favorite photo. It says so much. He's a champ.
Wait a second. I never saw the DVD because I don't have the DVD. Are you telling me you drew the belt?
All right, you keep talking. Let me go run get it. Hang on.
All right.
Okay.
So Jim, he drew the belt on his where they would hold the belt.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that.
Him at school with his shirt on. And he markered the belt, and I thought, what a perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're gonna do a Rocky-ish movie, you got to have the steps in it.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Yeah, we had the Rocky Balboa steps at one point. Like when he's got the one fist. But see.
Oh my.
I literally
That's
drew.
awesome.
Gloves too. I forgot.
Oh my God.
That is the high school. I drew boxing gloves on myself, and I drew the belt in magic marker, and I said, someday I am going to be Rocky.
That
That's
almost
epic.
got us an R rating.
Wow.
That topless.
Really?
No.
That?
What?
Oh.
I'm like, what? Are you kidding?
I'm like, well, me
That's
too. I
funny.
was like, what?
I'm gonna have to do that. That's gonna be tonight's Instagram post. I have to do. That's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
the good one. Yeah, good
That
one.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, listen. Before we let Mr. Toscano out of here, this guy he's something else.
Yes.
I mean, Jim is
This might have been one of the most fun podcasts.
I'm telling you, man, this is something else.
Thank you.
Stacy, you are our Adrian Factor. You lead off anything you want to say to Jimmy before he goes.
You've been such a fun guest, and seeing The Pretender was when I was first introduced to Mike, and so I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is just fabulous. And I love your story about, you just got to do it, and so that's something I need to do. I have my own aspirations, and so I just got to go buy a camera and do it because I got to do things. Yeah.
That's it.
So thank you. No,
welcome.
it's kind of cool. I think it's cool the contrast, between original Rocky just being like, okay, let's just do it. Let's just figure it out as we go. And here's The Pretender, and it's sort of the same. I think that's kind of neat. So thank you for coming on.
So cool when someone sees the movie and then reaches out to Mike, and it's so cool that that is the buzz for me, is that someone found our film and watched it, and then, it's like, because that's what I love doing,
and people watch it and go, wow, I could do what I want. I love blah blah blah. If he can do it, why can't I?
That's how everyone was that helped with the film too, whether they were helping shoot it or edit it or do the music. It was like inspire them as they were working on it,
right?
All the rides home from Philly, whoever I was with, they're driving. Like, dude, I'm going back to school. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try and write this thing, and I'm gonna try and film. I have an idea. It was
nice.
Wow.
That's when you knew you had something special. That when the crew members are like, man, I'm gonna do this. Heck.
Right. That is
Jim. I'm gonna stay on you to put those deleted scenes up on The Pretender. I'm telling you, you have so much. I know you're busy. I know that. But
all the best things are in the film, though.
There's a lot of deleted scenes that gotta go up on Instagram. You got Stallone following you. He thinks it's me. Stallone thinks I'm the one posting, because if I was the one posting, believe me, I'd have more up on The Pretender.
I don't think he's following The Pretender, is he?
He is. Yes.
No.
He followed you out of Jimmy.
Well, go on your who's following, and you'll see him. Yeah.
Lorenzo, before we go, you got anything for Jim you want to say?
Yeah, something, I am somebody who has a lot of older friends, meaning people in their 80s or 90s. And this is something I asked them. So you mentioned you were in business. You did business, Jim, and then you stopped doing that to pursue what you really loved.
Yeah. So
if you could go back to your 20-year-old self and you had 5 minutes, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh, man. I would, it's what I tell my kids, just do what you love. Do what you love, no matter how ridiculous it sounds. Like if you like tennis shoes, you're obsessed with wearing tennis shoes, make tennis shoes.
Yeah.
You'll kill. You'll rise up through Nike and beyond and be the best designer ever.
Yeah.
If you like garbage picking, man, you'll own the biggest fleet of garbage trucks in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
But you just gotta find what you like, and I would say don't be scared. I was really young. I graduated high school at 17, and I went right to work and college, and I worked at an ad agency, and I just, whatever the next promotion was, I just kept taking and kind of losing sight of, do I like this? Like, do I love this? And then finally, when some of the perks got stale and old, I said, all right, I got to do something I love here. That, life is long and life is short. Life's long if you're not doing what you like. You know what I mean?
Right.
The truth.
Short, so you gotta
For sure.
kind of just do what you like. And I, honestly, when I started dating my wife, she inspired me because she was doing everything she wanted to. She went to Italy every summer to see her family. She became a second grade teacher, which is exactly what she wanted to do. She was going to Canada all the time. She was just doing all the things that she just wanted to do.
Yeah.
And quickly after dating, starting to date her, I joined up at the film school, right in Detroit, and just said, whatever the first class is, give me that class, and then so it kind of all that stuff kind of inspires. So
and you have a studio in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Did she inspire you to open your own studio?
Yeah, she gave me some of the courage, but it was that initial, like, the whole thing, just do what you want, and it was like, all right, if I'm going to do it, you got to do it 1,000%.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Jim, so as you know, I like to ask everybody, because Sly does kind of check in once in a while and checks out this podcast.
Here.
If you had 30 seconds in an elevator with Sly, what do you say to him? Go.
Oh, man. Oh, God, dude. You got me stumped. Oh, what would I say? I would say, oh, man. What did you think of The Pretender? No.
No,
I
seriously.
would want to know that. So that is part of it. And
Sure.
I probably would ask him that because I know he saw it. And
Yeah.
What would I say? I would say I'd want him to know that he is super inspiring and all that stuff. He's very inspiring and he's very
Right.
But I also want him to know that he feels like a family member, doesn't he? He feels
He
like
does.
Uncle
That's
Sly.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
He feels like a real guy.
Uncle Rocky.
Yeah, he just feels like a good guy. Especially
Exactly.
he feels like
He does.
that you'd want to be around.
And he is. Yeah.
I heard someone say, you're never gonna see there's never gonna be a star like Stallone again. Because he's an A-lister, but he goes out to dinner without a bodyguard,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Talks to everyone and he's genuine. And I don't think we're ever gonna see someone like Stallone again, that kind of star.
On that level, that inspired on that level.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just he's got this. I would let him know he's got this perfect thing where he's super inspiring and seems larger than life, but at the same time he feels like Uncle Sly.
Yeah.
He feels like he might be at Thanksgiving dinner, he might be at Christmas dinner, and he'd be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Could you imagine when he has to cut the turkey? He has like one of the Rambo knives, and he ties like the tie. He takes the tie off, puts it around, ties it.
Yeah,
I could see him cutting it, going, "Hey guys, hey Jennifer, did I tell you a story on Rambo 2 when I got this knife out?" And they're like, "Dad, please."
Enough, Rambo. Okay.
Yeah, but I guess I'd say that. Yeah,
Jimmy. I hope we can get you back again in the future. Seriously, I want to get you back on. I want to talk about more things Rocky related. I have a few more things about The Pretender that I think other people find interesting. I think, and that it doesn't have necessarily to me to do, but it has more to do with your process. So in the future, I want you to come back on. Is that a deal?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was too much fun, man. This is great.
Awesome.
Jimmy, thank you so much. I love you, brother. I do my
Mr. Jimmy, good to meet you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Nice to meet you.
All of you guys. Super fun.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Anthony wants to say, that's me. Anthony says,
that you?
Hey, yo.
Hey,
100%. 100%, Anthony.
Have a great day, Jim. Thank you for your time and energy, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
don't forget. Keep punching.
Keep punching.
Yeah.
Yo.
Bye.
I absolutely adore that human. I do. He's a great guy. I could talk for hours and hours and hours about our adventures. It's been.
I would have liked to have seen the high school reunion.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's just something I am not brave enough to do something like that.
Yeah, and what's funny, Mike, is you shouldn't put yourself down so much. It all everything happened for the best, and you should be so honored to go back because. Being
the told you so's. The told you so's.
No. Well, think about it. Let's just think of reality. If my kid said, "Dad, I'm going to make a living being Rocky," I'd be like, "How? How are you going to do it?" And now all this stuff, Rocky. When you hear Rocky, you'll come up pretty soon after. So you should go back and feel good.
The funny thing is that the people I went to school with, these are not all of them, because some are watching, so not all of them. But a majority of them are knuckle dragging cavemen.
Yeah,
that really is what it.
Yeah,
they don't.
Maybe it was the
mentality.
time and they were young.
No, I still know some of them, and some of them have not evolved.
Okay, so that was my question. Yeah, I was like, do you think that everybody grows up eventually?
Yeah, some have.
Okay.
Some have. And I can think of there's about 10 guys that I talk to online that are from high school that I know they've either been okay with me or they've evolved. But the majority of these guys, okay, put it to you this way: when we went to Scranton when we had the premiere of The Pretender,
right?
Their wives came to The Pretender. None of them came. Not one guy came that I went to school with. None of them.
Wow.
Because these guys really hate my guts. They do.
Well, maybe look at it a different way. Something my dad used to say. What he would say in that is that shows you the signs of success. That they don't have the balls to
They were ashamed of themselves.
Hey, man, good job. Really, good job.
I don't know if they were ashamed of themselves. Some of them have done pretty darn well for themselves, and they're doing very well for the city of Scranton.
No, I'm saying for the way they treated you. Ashamed of themselves for the way they treated you.
Yeah. Well, either way,
I think they're pretty happy with the way they treated me. Trust me. There's no buttering this slice of bread.
Well,
okay?
they should be. Whoever they are, I'm saying
they should be. No,
either way, you shouldn't worry about the insecurities. You're making a living being Rocky, and you're doing great. And Rocky himself said, "Good job."
Yeah.
You're not his friend from Philly, though.
That's true. That's true. No, seriously, everything is very good, and I'm very happy, very content where I'm at, and I really want to thank Jim again. He really brings a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we'll get his work partner, Danny Janino, to come on.
Oh yeah,
Danny's a great guy. You guys would love him. Just great stories, and I'm looking forward to it. So, enough of The Pretender. Enough of that. Listen, what do we have left? What do we have left to talk about? We've got to do some outro plugs. What is happening in your worlds? Lorenzo, what do you want to talk about as we go out?
Before we do that, I got one question for you, Mike.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I think I could stump the mic.
You probably can.
Stump the mic.
I'm woozy from that interview.
I think this is an easy question, but in the little time I had, this was the best one. Yeah. My son is like, well, ask him what Rocky's real name is. He knows what Rocky's real name is. Yeah. So in Rocky 2, Rocky is when he's preparing for the fight, when he doesn't have Adrian's blessing, so he can't do anything now at this point. Yeah. He does some sparring with a very famous fighter. What is the name of that famous fighter?
Roberto Duran, Hands of Stone. I mean,
we can't stump the mic.
Oh, you can. You can. You'll get there. Trust me, you'll stump me. No, Roberto Duran really was one of the things that Sly liked using. Here's something that a lot of people have no idea of. Do you remember the scene in the original Rocky where Rocky goes to the gym? A rep from Jurgen's office already gave Mickey the card. Rocky is outside, and all the guys are standing around the front of it, and they go, "Hey, Rock, hey, man, Mickey's looking for you inside." Looking for me? Yeah, you, man, you.
I
Guys, those 5 or 6 guys standing out front of Mickey's gym as Rocky walks in, those were some of the greatest boxers in Philadelphia history. These were middleweight, lightweight, and light heavyweight champions, all these guys.
Wow.
Now, here's where you could have stumped me had you known this. I have their names written down in a file guarded by Jedi Knights. So I don't.
Wow, Jedi Knights, huh?
I don't know their names, but I have their names written down. These guys were weren't just bums hanging on the corner. These were literally some of the greatest.
My next goal in life is now stamped. I'm gonna stump the mic. stump the mic, stump the. I'm gonna, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna be on the street doing a live, going stump the mic, stump the mic. That's what we're gonna
try it.
The
That could
next
be a good
video.
bit. That could
That'd
be
be
a
a
good
good
bit.
video.
Maybe I'll
for
run
sure.
into like Mr. T and go, can you stump the mic?
Yeah, you said-
Oh, I did find out something about
Yes.
Mr. T.
Yes, sir.
That his mother walked out of the screening of Rocky 3.
Yes, heard
You know,
that.
I heard that. I heard
She was.
that.
She said, "I told my son how to treat women, and when I saw him treating Adrian that
That's
way,
right.
I walked out and was ashamed of my son."
I think I
Ooh.
read that 1982
Yes.
People magazine or Us
Yes.
magazine. I remember
Yes.
reading that article, and that's a true story.
That's true.
It's ser-
Yeah.
seriously.
Yes. So
Lorenzo, yes, sir.
I got to stop because we're you and I, Mike, are so shy. We don't like talking and talking. And yes. Well, yes.
Lorenzo,
Well,
you want to pump anything? You want to push anything? Anything
I would
at
love
all?
to push two things. Thank
Go
you so
ahead.
much. First, thank you for letting me first be part of the Rocky Files for
Yes.
co-hosting instead of Anthony. Anthony, I tried. Okay, I go for it. That's what I did.
There you go.
Yeah.
So first, follow me on YouTube for all the Rocky interviews, and I have two movies coming out this year. I try to be like Sylvester Stallone, so I write as well as star in my films. I have a
Nice.
comedy, American Hun Story, which will be out this year in streaming services, and I'm
Nice.
co-starring in a faith-based project called The Girl in the Mountain.
Beautiful.
Nice. Can't wait.
Yes, me
Beautiful.
too.
You let us
Thank
know
you so much.
as-
I will
as
let
they
you
happen.
know. Thank
we'll
you so
post
much.
them.
I will.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
plug
so
them for
excited.
sure.
Stacy, anything you want to talk about, plug or say?
So on Stigma Does Not Define Us, we have someone coming on that was one of our
Oh.
guests.
No.
Yes, episode number 2, Austin Gomes is coming
Oh,
on.
Austin.
Yes,
Ah,
he
my
is.
favorite
He is.
Marine.
Yeah, our favorite Marine. He is coming on. We're actually probably recording more toward the end of the week. He will be episode 6 or 7, depending on
Beautiful.
how Mentel decides to do it. But I just wanted folks to. He has a very sweet, personal, inspiring story. He's going to get deeper into it with us on Stigma
I
Does Not
love it.
Define Us. So we will be plugging that when it happens. So, and
I love it.
Michael, what do you have to
Yes.
plug?
Anything,
All right.
Michael?
So I wrote a book called Cue the Rocky Music. It's a great stocking stuffer. There it is. You can get it at Amazon. It fits perfectly in a 6-inch wide stocking. I run a tour called the Yo Philly Rocky Film Tour, which you can just Google, and I'm the #1 tour. Just come take my tour. And you can see me on Instagram at the Yo Philly Rocky Film Tour, or you can see me on TikTok, which is climbing fast. I am TikTok Rocky. TICK.
Mike, what is it with these freaking TikTok people? who
Oh,
are
they hate me.
Did you get my message? I'm like, I watch it and I like all the stuff. And then my first interpretation is these people are so jealous that somebody figured out something they love and is making a living at it. They are horrible.
Who are you, Lorenzo, on TikTok?
I am somebody strange. I'm Lorenzo. I'm Lorenzo. It's weird.
Is that your name on
yeah,
TikTok?
Lorenzo Leonard. I'll take a screenshot and send you just to make sure.
Okay, so I know.
Yeah.
I'll follow. I want to follow you, so I know
Yes,
you're you.
I love all your stuff, and you know your duplication of when you do Rocky scenes is pretty good. Yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah,
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it on a scale from 1 to 10. I give it a 7.
I like when you're the what's the guy's name? Is it Gazzo? I forgot his name. I like when you did that good. I like it.
Gazzo and Buddy. Actually, I like my Gazzo and my Buddy better than I like my Rocky. I think I'm better as Gazzo and Buddy than I am as Rocky. It really is a lot of fun. And I have a couple of ideas of some new things that maybe gets a few laughs. And I do this thing where people hate my guts.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
You're not joking. They
heck?
hate you. You're not joking.
They hate me.
Why?
So I do this.
Yeah.
So
They say stuff like "get a life." This horrible stuff.
Oh, they said I'm a Down syndrome Rosie O'Donnell who'd been dragged through the water, hit by a car like a dead deer on the side of the road.
Yeah, and now he's saying the nice stuff.
Yeah, those are the good people. So
yeah.
I can't. So my natural personality is to be like Andrew Dice Clay. I am that is my nature.
Yeah.
I found that goes against TikTok. That's a violation of TikTok decency. And these little crybaby jerks.
They are.
They say to TikTok, he picked on me after I called him a name. And then they delete my video. TikTok deletes my video. If you get X amount of these, they boot you off the system. So I said, okay, I don't want to get booted off. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to look above me at what the people
Yeah, that's
write.
what a lot of people do. They point to the comments and go,
I'm going to laugh, make a face like Lorenzo did. And I have this unique thing that I love. I started telling people to go get a clue. Go hunt for a clue. You're off. So I started playing the Pink Panther theme as I point up, and I have a Pink Panther club membership.
Pink Panther. I like that.
Smart.
Dumbest people. The dumbest.
Or he
people.
has to say, how many times I have to tell you, go to the pinned video. The pinned video. He must have said it. I was aggravated how much you had to say it. I was like, because they're like, you didn't meet Sly. Go to the pinned video. Go to Instagram. It's
unreal.
Unbelievable, man. Yeah.
Anyways, that's where you can find me. Tune in, and hopefully our main man, Anthony, will be back with us. But if he can't be, Lorenzo has filled in. He's done it. There he is again. Lorenzo has done an amazing job tonight.
Thanks, Lorenzo.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you. Okay, I'll be back. Hold on.
Anthony,
I gotta get
we
this.
miss you. We miss you.
Well, thank you. It's awesome being here.
Lorenzo, we're going to see you for a few minutes next week on our 21st thing. So make sure you have a drink in hand, or at least make it look like you got a drink in your hand.
You don't understand. Drinks are attached to my waist.
I love it.
I'm back every second.
I like the way you think. Stacy, love you, my friend.
Stacy, you're the best. Mike, you're the best.
Love you guys.
Bye, Lorenzo.
Bye-bye. Keep punching.